Hey there hunters, and welcome back to the Gunners Guild. Hey look, another WoW video. Wow. Today I'm going to talk about elemental farming in the Arathi Highlands. This farm is very specific to hunters because no one else can really attack mobs of any level thanks to how ranged hits work. And while I'm on Horde, this is definitely doable for both Horde and Alliance. So let's just dive in. The first question is why farm the elementals? Well, it's obvious to some, but in case you didn't know, these elementals drop charms that can be used to banish other elementals, but their main use is for warriors who want to complete their Whirlwind Axe quest. You can pick up this quest at level 30, and if you get someone to kill the level 40 elite at the end of it, you can actually pick up your Whirlwind Axe at level 30 despite it being itemized for a level 40 weapon. It's most likely going to be your pre-raid BIS weapon for warriors, and will be the best weapon for most of your leveling, no questions asked. So rather than wait till you can kill these elementals on your warrior, you can also just buy the charms and then get the elite to kill and call it a day. So people buy these charms to get ahead, which makes sense. On my server, these charms fluctuate greatly in price, but they're typically about 70 silver to 3 gold a piece, and this is kind of where they're falling right now. But with a 20% drop chance for these, it's not particularly hard to farm about 100 of these and then walk away with a few hundred gold. Now the elementals obviously do also drop elemental water, air, and fire, which will be used in the crafting recipes in Phase 2, including things like Robes of Power, which will definitely see some use for sure. So there's good reason to farm these besides just the charms. So you can farm these on a level 25 hunter, although it does take some time. But it's better to get this farm in now, where only hunters can do it, because when Phase 2 hits, Arathi Highlands is going to be a bloodbath, and both factions are going to be farming these elementals, so it's going to be extremely competitive. But anyway, let's just go over doing this in Phase 1. So we're going to start with the water elementals, the Cresting Exiles. They're outside Hammerfall in the Arathi Highlands. These elementals do a Frost Nova, but otherwise just melee you, so you can kite these to death. Now for Horde, this is an easy farm. All you have to do is pull these to the guards at the Arathi base and portal. There's nothing between them and the elementals, so it's an easy kite to just run. And you don't have much of a risk here, nothing's really going to interrupt your flow. But do note that in order to get loot from these kills, if the guards end up killing them, you do have to deal at least 30% of their life and damage, so make sure you're using Concussive Shot, Multi-Shot, and even Chimera Shot if you want to, just to make sure you're dealing that 30% damage by the time the guards murder it. Your pet actually doesn't matter here because it's just going to get Frost Nova rooted and fall behind, so feel free to swap out of your pet and run like Master Marksman and Chimera Shot for the extra damage on the run. There's no point running Beastmaster. Now for Alliance, you're probably going to have a harder time with this since you can't actually kite these back to Refugee Point. You're better off getting a buddy and trading aggro and just bouncing the element off 2 hunters to kind of just ping pong ball it. But if you're doing this solo, I really don't have much advice for you other than just don't get close because Frost Nova is going to kill you, and you just got to kite in a really big circle. Moving on though, let's talk about the air elementals, the Thundering Exiles. These elementals cast a lightning bolt which hurts, and also does an earth shock which you have to be careful for. These guys I prefer to have a pet out because that pet can actually attack these guys when they're casting their lightning bolt. But your pets will also be able to absorb earth shock from them, which saves the damage from you. If you do have enough stamina, you should be able to get through taking their entire mana bar worth of lightning bolts before they have to start meleeing you, in which case you can just start kiting it and finish it off. They regen their mana pretty quickly though, so you do have to be ready for an extra lightning bolt. And a special note is that be careful when you pull these things away from the group, because if the elemental continues to chase you after you're able to start shooting it, like it's within that 30 to 35 yard range, it should start casting lightning bolt, but if it doesn't, it's because it's trying to get within 20 yards of you so it can run up and earth shock you, which does a lot of damage, a lot more than lightning bolt, and it'll often lead to death if you take that and the full mana bar with your lightning bolts. So your best bet is to get the pet on it first because the elemental will shock the pet, even if it's targeting you with lightning bolts already, which is good because that eats up mana, and the whole point of killing these things is to outlast its mana bar and then kite them to finish. Having a pocket healer for these makes this a cakewalk and will leave you with very little downtime. Though if you're Alliance, you can also just do the 30% of the damage and then pull these to Refugee Point because it's literally right there on the other side of the hill, and that makes these a lot easier to do on the Alliance side. While these elementals are the only ones that will be able to constantly hurt you, it's not that big of a deal if you have enough stamina. Just don't panic because you're often going to finish off each kill with less than 300 HP or so. Sometimes you will have to play around with the range and make sure it cancels its lightning bolts a couple times so it goes for the earth shock, but other than that, you should be okay. For the last elementals, the Burning Exiles, these guys are pretty rough. Not only are they very fast, but they're also entirely melee and will hound you down even in aspect of the cheetah. So if you're taking unnecessary turns or missing your concussive shots, that's going to lead you to death because they're going to catch up to you. Neither Horde nor Alliance have guards that can pull these two, so you're kind of on your own there. The best way to deal with them, I found, is to pull them back to Thoradin's wall near the road where this rock formation is. You can kite them around this rock and force them to move extra distance by making them, make all the turns around the rock. And you can easily keep them between you and the rock with a concussive shot. If these elementals manage to catch you, you're not instantly dead. Not only can you try to wing clip it to get away, but these elementals often pause for a second during their attacks, like they're casting something. Not really sure if it's flame shield or what, but it does give you extra time to put distance between you two, so you can turn on aspect of the cheetah or fire a concussive shot. Also, a good note is that when they are below 20% HP, they do slow down considerably, making it very easy for you to just kite and shoot them without much fear. And I actually use my cat for the Burning Exiles because while you can just go full marksman and kite them away, cat provides two useful bonuses. The first is that the cat can take aggro sometimes, and if the elemental catches up to you and you're not dealing damage to it because you can't really do any damage melee, the cat can sometimes pull the aggro off, and that will just save your life right there, so that's always worthwhile. But also, because this spot is actually right next to the road where plenty of players can see you running in circles fighting scary monsters, if they start chasing you, you can easily pull the elemental up the wall into the gap and loop around while you send your cat onto your incoming threat from players, which is more than enough to keep them off you while you either finish off your elemental or just run away and reset it. It's extremely handy to have your cat on you during this farm because players are very annoying. But once you can comfortably farm all three elements, you can start selling the charms to warriors who don't want to farm for it, or just hold on to them for phase 2 when they'll probably go up in price because everyone actually wants them. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be all for me. Thank you all for watching. I know I don't do too many WoW content videos out there. I honestly don't think I have much to contribute, but I'm happy to help wherever I can. If anyone wants to talk shop about gaming or anything in general, feel free to join my Discord in the description below. But yeah, thanks and good luck out there, hunters.